You are Locked On Warriors POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Warriors POSTCAST. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Morning Show on KMBR, or maybe from some of these other post-game shows we do on the Locked On Sports Network. We also do the Locked On Giants POSTCAST and the Locked On 49ers POSTCAST too. But tonight, man, the Warriors lost a game they absolutely needed to win. I still cannot believe what the hell I just saw. Harrison Barnes, of all people, drilled a very tough three-pointer at the buzzer. Jimmy Butler was right there all over him like glue. But man, Harrison Barnes with the buzzer beater to lift the Spurs to victory. And all I have to say is, where the hell was this version of Harrison Barnes in 2016, huh, Harrison? Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler combined for 58 of the Warriors' 111 points, but did not get enough help from the supporting cast to win this game. We'll break it all down, but first, I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please, if you aren't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button right now. Thanks also for listening on the Locked On Warriors podcast feed, and make sure to check out the Locked On Warriors Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. And as I said, I really cannot believe what the hell I just saw. This was an absolute gotta-have-it game. And you look around the rest of the West and what happened tonight. The Denver Nuggets beating the Sacramento Kings, and the Houston Rockets did not get it done against the Clippers. The Clippers win that one 134-117, and the Denver Nuggets win 124-116. So the Warriors now looking up at a couple teams in the standings. They no longer control their own destiny. In these last two games of the season against the Blazers and the Clippers loom extremely large. If the Warriors want to get out of the play-in and into the playoffs, which I think is very key, they cannot lose these last two games. You absolutely must win against Portland, and you absolutely must win against the Clippers. This is just an awful loss for the Warriors. They led by as many as 14 at one point late in that third quarter, enter the fourth quarter with a double-digit lead, and the Spurs just went on a big run, which brings me to tonight's turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
And the turning point for me was that fourth quarter in the beginning of it, when the Spurs went on a 15-2 run to start the quarter, put them right back in this game, made it a 1-point game, and made it another clutch game for the Warriors. It is worth noting this is just the second clutch game that the Warriors have lost with Jimmy Butler in the lineup. But man, there were some bad plays down the stretch from Jimmy, honestly, that really cost the Warriors. First of all, the ball was stolen from Jimmy on an inbound with about 30 seconds left and a tie game. Spurs then get the go-ahead bucket after the steal and lead by 2 because of a defensive breakdown between Jimmy and Draymond. We have not seen that very often at all from this Warriors defense. They just kind of let the Spurs player drift freely right underneath the basket. Entry pass was easy to make. I mean, Draymond and Jimmy kind of parted like the Red Sea there on that play. You saw them both go to each other and talk about it afterwards. But then going back the other way, the Warriors get a little bit of a break as Harrison Barnes fouls Draymond with just 3.1 to play. Draymond sinks both free throws, ties the game up at 111 apiece. But then Harrison Barnes off the inbound pass. I just cannot believe he made this shot. Jimmy Butler was all over him like white on rice. Did not matter. Harrison Barnes hits that crazy rainbow arc 3 to win the game. And man, I just cannot believe, of all people, it had to be Harrison Barnes. And you saw the way the Spurs reacted. They were hoping to play spoiler, and they absolutely did tonight against the Dubs. This was a gotta-have-it win, and they absolutely did not have it tonight. The Warriors, other than Steph and Jimmy, nobody wanted to score the basketball. Steph and Jimmy combined for 58 points, like we said. Steph with 30, Jimmy with 28. When Steph was on the floor, the Warriors were plus 13. When he was off the floor, they were minus 16. So that tells you about all you need to know about the Warriors supporting cast tonight. Brandon Pajemski, after we heaped praise on him in the last show, 3 of 11 from the field, 7 points. Moses Moody, 3 of 11 from the field, 7 points. I love the band 311. Amber is the color of your energy. Great song. Cannot stand looking at a player who shoots 3 for 11 in a game like this. Moses Moody and Brandon Pajemski combined for 2 for 12 from the 3-point range. And this was a gotta have it win. And the Warriors just fell down in this game tonight. They let the Spurs hang around for entirely too long. And really, it came down to that fourth quarter. The Warriors were outscored by 15 points in that fourth quarter. That's not a way to win a game. I know it's the Spurs, and they're 33-47 on the season, only 14 wins away from their home court all season long. But you got to figure out a way to get up for these games and close out these lesser opponents. The Warriors absolutely needed to win this game, and it's just I truly cannot believe what I just saw. I cannot believe that the Spurs hung around for as long as they did. I cannot believe that the Warriors kept shooting 3-pointers even though they were not making them. 33% from the 3-point line tonight. The Warriors were 16 of 48. 48 shots from 3-point range and only 16 went in. I mean, they shot more threes than twos tonight. And I don't know why you're doing that when the Spurs do not have a real center on this team right now. They should have absolutely bullied the Spurs in the paint. I know that the Warriors aren't the biggest team in the world, but Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green play a lot bigger than they are. Same with Looney. I really don't know why Looney and TJD only combined for 15 minutes in this game. I really would have hoped to see them play some more minutes in a game like this. Jonathan Kuminga as well, because these are all guys that can attack the rim. I don't know why the Warriors did not have more of a concerted effort to get in the paint in this matchup. The Spurs absolutely dominated. Well, not dominated, but they won the points in the paint matchup 38-34. And there's no reason that a team without a center should be beating the Warriors in points in the paint. That absolutely should not happen. The Warriors barely edge out the Spurs in the rebounding battle too. They won 52-48. So I just don't understand why this happened. Like, I truly do not get how the Warriors lost this game other than just poor shooting and letting the Spurs hang around. I'm at a loss for words right now. The Warriors only shot 41% from the field, Spurs 48%. So, that's pretty much the difference right there. And the Warriors, as I said, Steph played great. Jimmy played great, except for in those closing minutes. But you really needed someone else to step up. We've talked about the importance of Pods playing up to being that second scorer for the Warriors, because Jimmy's not gonna score 28 every night. Jimmy, down the stretch, he was really getting to the free throw line over and over again, and that's usually a recipe for success for the Warriors in the fourth. But credit the Spurs, who just kept making shot after shot, playing with a ton of energy. Both teams coming off the back-to-back tonight, so you don't have the excuse of the Warriors being more tired and the Spurs being more fresh. You absolutely do not have any more excuses left with just 2 games remaining this season. Warriors absolutely need to find a way to beat the Blazers. That becomes now the biggest game of the season. And man, this was just an absolute gut punch of a loss. You go into this game thinking you're looking at those last three games of the schedule and where the Warriors were in the standings, and you're thinking, they're probably going to be able to beat the Spurs and probably going to be able to beat the Blazers, and maybe you'll finish out with a win against the Clippers. But with the way they've been playing, that'll be tough. So, but now that flips entirely on its head. And to make matters worse, the Houston Rockets lose to the Los Angeles Clippers tonight. I have no idea how the Rockets lost by damn near 20 points to the Clippers tonight. I got to go back and look at some of those highlights. And the Sacramento Kings, who we all were rooting for to beat the Denver Nuggets tonight, didn't get it done. But guess what? We still got to root for the Kings, because we need the Kings to beat the Clippers in their next matchup between the two. That game comes on Friday. So, just an abysmal loss for the Warriors tonight in another clutch game. But as I said, just the second clutch game that the Warriors have lost with Jimmy Butler on the team. They're now 9-2 in these games, and on the season, they're 25-19 in clutch games. We got to take a quick break here, but on the other side, we still got to give out tonight's player of the game and go over what you'll be talking about. That's what's next on the Locked On Warriors postcast. Today's show is sponsored by Betterhelp. Taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health, but traditional in-person therapy can be expensive, often ranging from $100 to $250 per session. It's where BetterHelp comes in. With online therapy, you get quality care at a price that makes sense, saving you time and money. Therapy isn't just for life's toughest moments. It can help with everyday stress, learning how to set boundaries, or develop positive coping skills. Having access to support when you need it can make a big difference. Your well-being is worth it. Visit betterhelp.com/lockedonnba to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/lockedonnba. And today's show is sponsored by Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on retirement contributions. The privileges of the very privileged are no longer exclusive. With Robinhood Gold, your annual IRA contributions are boosted by 3%. Plus, you also get 4% APY on your cash and non-retirement accounts. It's over 8 times the national average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate subject to change. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times the national average savings account interest rate claim is based on data from the FDIC. As of November 18th, 2024, Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. Welcome back to the Locked On Warriors postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel, and I still absolutely cannot believe what I just saw. Harrison Barnes, of all damn people, drilling the buzzer beater three. I just want to know where this was in 2016, Harrison. Where the hell was this 6 of 9 3-point shooting performance when the Warriors needed it the most? Where the hell was this to cap off that the greatest single season, regular season ever played by a team in NBA history, the most wins of any single team in a regular season, and it doesn't end with a championship because, in part, Harrison Barnes fell down in that series against the Cavs. And ever since he's left the Warriors, he has been such a thorn in the side of this team. I'm devastated by this loss, man. I know that that the Warriors still have a lot of games left to play in this season. They're going to make at least the play-in tournament. They hopefully can still make the playoffs without having to go through that BS that is the play-in tournament. But this is just, this makes everything so much more difficult because of the ways that everything else shook out in the West tonight. And I'm beside myself after this loss. The Warriors had every opportunity to go out there and win this game. And it's when guys are missing shots, like Buddy Hield, 4 of 13, Brandon Pajemski, 3 of 11, Moses Moody, 3 of 11. They had open looks. Guy Santos, 0 for 2. They had open looks. These guys had plenty of scoring opportunities, and they just missed them. It was just brick after brick after brick. Pods missed 2 wide open threes there in that fourth quarter. Even one of them goes down. The Warriors probably win this game. Just awful stuff from the Warriors tonight. I also, as I said, I don't know why Steve Kerr didn't go with a bigger lineup there down the stretch, or go with guys that could attack the rim when the game started to get away from them in the non-Steph minutes. I think you really needed to try and just conceitedly make an effort, or a concerted effort to get to the rim, to get in the paint, score at the bucket. Why are we still chucking up 48 shots from 3-point range when they're not falling? Steph, 5 of 14 from 3. It's not his best shooting night, but it's definitely not a bad shooting night from 3. But this is just one of the worst losses of the season so far. And I'm taking a peek at the chat, and my guy Frankie saying this team belongs in the play-in because of the same bad habits and ways that they keep falling into. And that's what this 3-point shooting night says to me. The Warriors just shot themselves out of this game. And Frankie also says they can't stay focused or hungry enough to get the job done. And Andrew the GOAT says, I give up on the season for the Warriors. It's over. So I just cannot believe that the Warriors lost this game, especially the way that they did. They need Brandon Pajemski or Moses Moody or really anybody other than Steph and Jimmy to score the damn ball. And I think, honestly, that's what you'll be talking about after this game.
This is what you'll be talking about.
And what you'll be talking about is the question marks around everybody else on the Warriors, around the supporting cast of the 3 Hall of Famers. You know what you get from Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond. That is not really a question. You know exactly what's coming with those three guys. But what you don't know on a night-to-night basis is Jonathan Kuminga going to show up? Is Brandon Podziemski going to show up? Is Moses Moody going to show up? Is Guy Santos gonna play meaningful minutes? Is Buddy Hield going to make his threes? All of these remain question marks on a night-to-night basis. Brandon Podziemski had started to put those questions to bed with his recent play, but tonight takes a step back. So we got to ask him again, is Brandon Podziemski going to be reliable in the postseason as a second or third scorer in this Warriors starting lineup? And I don't think we're going to know the answer to that until we get there. And that is a little scary for this Warriors team. I still do like the way they match up with a lot of the teams in the West that are going to make the playoffs. I really do. I think, obviously, the two biggest tests for the Warriors are going to be the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder, who sit at 1 and 2 in the conference right now and are going to end the season that way, very likely. So I don't understand why the Warriors kept shooting the shots that they were shooting tonight. Don't understand why they didn't make more of an effort to get into the paint, to get to the rim, and stop shooting these damn three-point shots that just were not falling all night long. Before we get on out of here, we got to give out a player of the game, and I think you know who it's going to go to.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
And tonight's Locked On Player of the Game is absolutely Stephen Curry. Shoots 50% from the field, 30 points, and he had that rough game against Houston with only 3 points that he scored on a 1 for 10 shooting night, and he has absolutely bounced right back from that. And that's a very good sign. Steph did have to play 37 minutes tonight, which you were really hoping he wouldn't have to play that many minutes in a game like this against the Spurs. But for him to play that many minutes and for the Warriors to still lose, that is a double whammy for the Dubs. Just not how you wanted this night to go. Spurs now actually win the regular season series 3-1 against the Warriors. So some missed opportunities to beat a lesser team. Just a terrible 3-1 or 2-1. I keep saying the wrong number. 2-1. The Spurs win tonight, game 3 of the series, 114-111. The Warriors won game 2, 148-106. That was more what we were hoping for, but that is not what happened. As we all know, this was just an absolute gut punch, and I'm still left sitting here wondering, where the hell was this from Harrison Barnes in 2016? I will be pondering that question for the rest of the night, and that's about all the time that we have for you guys here on the Locked On Warriors postcast. What an awful loss for the Dubs tonight. They got a lot to prove in the last 2 games of this regular season heading into the playoffs. And we all got to root for the Kings to beat the Clippers, man. Absolutely. We are all Sacramento Kings fans for the next, on Friday, light the beam, all that. So get the cowbells ready and cheer on the Kings while you're cheering on the Warriors Friday against the Blazers. Only 2 games left this season. Warriors head up to Portland to play the Blazers at Moda Center, 7 p.m. tip on Friday. We'll be coming to you live after that game, as we always do here on the Locked On Warriors postcast. But as I said, that's about all the time we got for you guys tonight. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We'll see you next time. Peace.